Okay, hello everybody. B'Shem Hashem, Na'aseh v'Nasriach. Baruch Hashem, you sing tremendous Siyata D'Shmaya that the Shiur of the Zohar is growing and growing much more. There are the people who are watching us, the videos, and there's a lot of people here sitting in front of us. And Baruch Hashem, if anybody who's interested to add to the sponsorships for the Shiurim, and a lot of food is distributed at the time of the Shiur, for Ilul Ishmat or Lehavdil, if somebody has wants a bracha for Zera Bar Kayama, the name should be mentioned for Zivug Hagon or whatever they want, Haslacha, they could email it to us, their name and what have you, as they see it on the page, or they could contact us, and Mizad Hashem, we'll put it in the next year. Today, we're almost halfway in Chodesh Elul, and we're preparing to come to Rosh Hashanah, meet the King, Melech Malchei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And like we said, there's a lot of remazim, a lot of foundational points in these parshat that we all know that Ezra Sofer, who lived about 1,500 years ago, 2,000 years ago, he's the one who instituted that we should read the parshiot, that if we should finish the Torah once a year. Beforehand, they used to finish the parashat once every 3 years. And one of the reasons that he instituted that it should be done once a year, there's a lot of different reasons, but one of the reasons is that he wanted the klalot, the curses that in Parashat Yochai should fall before Shavuot, which is also Rosh Hashanah. We have 4 Rosh Hashanahs during the year. And this is Parashat Kitavo. Over there is 47 curses, over here is 98 curses. And he wanted to finish the curses before the new year, and that's why we say Tichle Shana v'Kavroteya v'Yachel Shana u'Berkoteya. Translated, that the year should end with his curses. And what a year we had last year, starting with Simchat Torah for the Jewish people as a whole, and we're still suffering from it. All the hostages, and we're praying for them to come back, and the war in Israel, and what have you, and we're praying for this to end and for the new year to begin with his brachot. Of course, everything that Hashem does for us is a bracha, it just is in disguise, because Hashem never does anything that's bad. Everything is for the good, whether we find out today, tomorrow, 120 years from now, or in Olam Haba. That's why our sages tell us that in this world we say Baruch Tov U'Metiv, and also Baruch Dayan Emet, for good news. Baruch Tov U'Metiv. For bad news, Baruch Dayan Emet. But in the world to come, only Tov U'Metiv. Because over there we'll see that everything Hashem did for us is for the good. Over here, since we're with the body and we have the Gashmiut and the materialism, a lot of things are covered. And this is the world of Nistar. Olam is Milashon Ne'elam, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kevyachol, as we were, he doesn't show his providence to the naked eye, because this is a world of Zachar and Onesh. He wants us to get to the mitzvot, do the mitzvot, and get the reward for it, and chas v'shalom the other way also, to make it even. If someone does not do the mitzvot and does averot, he gets punished. But this is the only place to do it. And that's why we never see 100% why everything's for our own good. But let's go back to Ezra Sofer. We talked about how he set up these parshiot kacha that we should end up the curses and start with the blessings. Now we know Ezra Sofer did this for the general nation. But what about on a personal level? What can we do as Jews in order to finish our personal curses and start with our personal blessings? We have to do something also, no? Nothing comes for free. So in 2 words, we have to look at the word Yehudi. First of all, why are we called Yehudi? Why not called Levi, Yissacharim, Shimonim? Why Yehudi? Why after Yehuda? Because Yehuda is the one who, like it's in his name, he's Modeh. When he does a sin, he comes and says he was wrong. He admits. That's a Jew. That's one, that's Modeh. And also, Lehodot. He also gives thanks to everything that Hashem does. And that's what we could do in order to have a great year. To be modeh, especially in this last year, every year, like Rav Miller says, Rav Miller Zatzal, if you want to have a great year, instead of coming like it says in the Zohar, we mentioned this in Lev Aaron, Shiva Lev Aaron, which a lot of boys are here right now, Baruch Hashem, listening to this. It says in the Zohar that all the nations come in front of Hashem in Rosh Hashanah, meaning their Neshamot, their souls, upstairs, and they start barking like a dog. Hav, 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 hav. A dog barks. Chutzpah. Haughtiness. They come in front of God and say, give, give. Hav means from the Lashon of ahava, ahava. If you look at the Shorish, hav means to give. When you love somebody, loving is giving, it's not taking. That's just the Mama Muskar on the side. So they come to Hashem and says, give, 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 give. Like a dog barking for some food. Now, that's the nations of the world. A Jew doesn't do that. A Jew comes to the Melech Malchei Melachim, and like Rav Miller says, and we're going to see there in this week's Parsha, Ki Tavo, that the secret over here is first we thank Hashem for the past year, that we were alive. We're not in Gaza, hostages. We're not in a third world country, getting spit out as Jews. We're married, whoever is married, we have children, we're healthy, you could learn Torah. Say thank you. There's so many things to say thank you that when you ask somebody, what should I say thank yous for? What do you? You're alive and you're talking to me. Say thank you. That's enough. Oxygen. You getting your oxygen? Say thank you for that. Water for free, almost in the world. Say thank you. The little things. Don't overlook them. And then you come to Hashem and Rosh Hashanah and say, he says, this guy says thank you, then it's worth giving more to. He'll give us, Bezrat Hashem, a new year full of blessings and full of everything that we ask for the sake of heaven. Okay? So that's very good. That's the second point, Yehudi. So we talked about how the goyim come in front of Hashem and they start barking like a dog. What's the example that we saw in the Parsha, last week's Parsha? It says, when it comes to Moab and Ammon, don't let them come into the Jewish nation. Not for the first generation, not in the 10th generation, not forever. It's not about the man, not the woman. We're not going to get into why. Separation here. But why Moab and Ammon did not get a chance to ever convert to come to Judaism? What did they do? Holocaust? Hitler? Were they worse than the Egyptians? Inquisition? What did they do? Let's look at the Torah. It says in the Pasuk, two things they didn't do. Al asher lo kadmu, they did not come in front of you when you're coming out of Egypt and you were thirsty and you were hungry. They didn't come and give you bread and water. That's what they did? That's their fault? We'll see why that's so bad. And also, Vasher Sachar Alecha et Bilam. Not only they didn't give you bread and water, they went and hired Billy in order to come and curse the Jewish people. And for these two reasons, Hashem tells us, make sure they don't come to the Jewish nation and don't go and don't do chesed with them. Like we saw in Navi yesterday when we do in the Kollel, David HaMelech wanted to show chesed to the king of Ammon because they had some kind of goodness, or it looked like goodness, but for political reasons. So he sent soldiers and missionaries to say thank you. And what did he do? He shaved off half the size of the beards and embarrassed them and spit at them and threw them back. I looked at the Mefarshim over there. It says over there in the Radak, it's because he was over this pasuk. What are you doing being good to them? Hashem says, don't be good to them. You don't want to be with them? Don't be with them. But don't go and say, hey, let's be friends. How many times we have these situations coming up in our lives? When Hashem says, you know, don't come close to the Kohen, don't become this, don't be friends. I mean, you have to be respectful. I'm saying don't go spit in the guy's face. But if Hashem tells you to stay away from some community, some kind of people, because he knows what he's talking about. He wrote the Torah. He knows the genetics in those people. Okay, so let's go back to the reason again. What's so bad about not bringing bread and water? So my son told me last week, what's the connection between the two parts? They hired Bilam to curse you, and they didn't also bring water and so you might have thought they would have come and said, listen, we worry about you coming into our land, taking our bread and drink, and we worry about that. We don't have money, so that's why we didn't come. Good claim. But Hashem says, no, I read your minds. If you don't have money, why did you give millions of dollars to go to a different country, Baghdad, bring Bilam Rasha, who took a lot of money for his services, so you had money. Don't tell me you didn't have money. Okay, that's on a pshat level. But again, on a deeper level, why Hashem does not want these people to come to the Jewish nation? In Hebrew is 2 words, Kafuye Tovah. In English is 1 word. Ingrates! Hashem doesn't hate something more than someone who's an ingrate. When somebody does good to him and he turns his back, now he don't only turns his back, he spits on the guy's face who did good to him. There's no worse crime than that in front of Hashem's eyes. But where's the ingrateness? What's the problem here? They should have learned from their forefather, Lot. Generations back, Avraham Avinu, he bent over backwards to save their forefather twice from dying. One time from the 4 kings that took him away, they wanted to kill him. Another time when he was in Sodom again, Avraham Avinu, our father, stuck out his neck to go and save their father. So instead of Lot saying, thank you, Abraham, for saving my life, I'm going to kiss your feet and be with you and learn Torah from you, he turned his face and went to San Francisco to do Averot, the worst kind of Averot of those times. Instead of saying thank you, he saved your life and he wants to give you Olam Haba, he turned your face. No bigger ingrate than that. Apparently he put those genes in his kids, Moab and Ammon, and therefore over here also, they're following their father's footsteps. We're not going to give you food. We're not going to give you drink. Not even that, we're going to go hire somebody to curse you and take you not out of this world, also in the world to come. We're going to bring the daughters of Moab, making Hefker, says you should do sin with them and go out of the next world also. That's the biggest ingrate that a person could be. That's why they're so hated by Hashem. But the Jewish people, like we said, we have Hakarat HaTov. So let's see from this 6th parsha how we could have Hakarat HaTov. V'haya ki tavo l'haaretz, when you come to the land that Hashem gives you. V'lakachta ad ma'eshit kol pri adama v'kulei. And it says over here that when you have your own land and you're planting a vineyard or fruits, whatever it is, for 3 years you can't touch them. Laws of Orla, we're not going to get into that. The 4th year, you're about to come and eat it. You did so much work for it. You watered it. You washed it. You put a scarecrow inside so they won't eat it. Wow, I did everything. You're about to come and eat it. Hashem says, don't touch it. Bring it as a sacrifice, as a thank you to the Beit HaMikdash, and give it to the Kohanim, so that you could recognize it's all me. If I did not give you the power to do what you did, nothing would grow. Who said that when you put water in the ground, fruits should come out? It's all me. I instructed you to do hashtadlut. I want you to put the seed in the ground. But I want you to come and say thank you and recognize it's all me. And not only recognize, to go through your whole history, all the way back to Yaakov Avinu. It says, he comes and he says, Vanita v'amata lifnei Hashem Elokecha Arami over David, v'yered Mitzrayim, we went down to Egypt. Laban wanted to kill Yaakov, didn't succeed. We went to Egypt. The Egyptians wanted to drown us, didn't succeed. So many years later, 300 years later, we built the Beit HaMikdash. Now I plant my vineyard. Now I want to have my food. Come and say your whole history. Recognize that you come from nothing. You were a slave. A drop of semen. Recognize where you come from. And from Hashem has taken you from that, from a slave has made you into a prince. Banim atem LaHashem Elokechem. Not only we're sons of God, we're the firstborns. Beni bechori ata. Recognize where you came from, and recognize where you are now. Hashem has chosen us to be the prince, ambassadors of Hashem in this world. This really talks to you guys out here because of Levaron. Also us, coming out of LA, most of the people who are watching this are from Chutz La'aretz, that Hashem has chosen us. Sure, so many people are our friends, they wanted to come also. And B'ezrat Hashem they'll come. But the fact that we're here right now, the Hakarat HaTov, say thank you to Hashem that I'm not in the garbage can where I was, hanging out how many Yetzahara, how many bad influences there were. Over here also we have to be careful. But it's over here where Noah's Ark used this year to charge our batteries for life. Say thank you. Okay? And the last point over here, before we finish this concept, after you thanked Hashem and you said that this is where you came from and this is where Hashem has brought you, and it's all Hashem, thank you for everything. V'samachta b'chol hatov asher natan lecha Hashem Elokecha lehodot, and to give it with simcha. You know how hard it is for a person who has worked 4 years for fruits to come out, and to come and give it now all the attention to someone else and say it's not you, it's not me, it's you. And I have to be happy doing that? Yes. Because Hashem has given us everything. And He always does. And if you recognize this point, then you're a true Jew. You're Yehudi. Because you could be Modeh. You could thank Hashem. Okay, that's the thanking Hashem. Well, what about the admitting to the Chataim, the sins? And that's part of Elul. We're preparing for Rosh Hashanah. So that's, we have to go back to the Parsha and talk about Yaakov Avinu, talk about David HaMelech, Shaul HaMelech, and see what are all these people, these giants have to do with this, the curses in this Parsha, and how we could come to Rosh Hashanah already like David HaMelech. Like we said, Parshat Bachukotai and Parshat Kitavo all together have 147 curses. In order to counter that, David HaMelech, Baruch Hashem, was Zohar, had the merit to write Tehillim. A lot of people, most of us, we know this. It says 150, Rabbi. What do you tell me, 147? So according to some Meforshim, 3 of the Tehillim is actually parts of 1. So you go down from 150 to 147. Why did David HaMelech choose the number 147? Why not 150? Why not 120? Why not 110? Because he had Hakarat HaTov to one person, Yaakov Avinu. It was more, but because Yaakov Avinu gave most of his life, so David HaMelech to come into this world and not be a stillborn. You know, David HaMelech, he was supposed to be a stillborn. Adam HaRishon, who saw all the generations, when he got to David HaMelech, Hashem was showing him, this generation you're going to have this, this, and that. But David, after 2 hours, is going to die when he's born. What's going on? What's going to be? Hashem says, yeah, you want to help him out? Yeah, I'll give him 70 years. Okay, so if you give him 7 years, what do you want from Yaakov? So I heard this from Rabbasri the other day, that he regretted it towards the end of his life. He wanted to live longer. He lived 930, but he wanted to go to 1,000. So Hashem helped him out that he shouldn't regret it, but still there was some kind of a, because of the regret, some other giants had to give from their lives. Yosef HaSadik gave, Avraham Avinu gave, but Yaakov Avinu gave most of his life. And that's why David HaMelech came and said, I'm going to have a Hakarat HaTov. I'm going to have gratitude to a person who gave me life, of course Hashem, but the person who also was the messenger, Yaakov Avinu. And for that, because he lived 147 years, I'm going to dedicate the number 147 to Yaakov Avinu. Okay, great. Where did David HaMelech have this Hakarat HaTov? From his mother, great-grandmother, Leah Imenu, great-grandfather, Yaakov Avinu, and also Yehuda. We know that Leah Imenu, when Yehuda was born, he said, Hapam Odeh Hashem. I see that Hashem is giving everything chasadim. We're supposed to all have three kids from the 4 wives. Now I have 4. But I'm not just saying thank you for this. Now I realize that every single child that I have to give to the Jewish people is all a chesed. Hapam odet Hashem. Calls him Yehuda. Yehuda, when he wants to, the whole episode over there with Tamar, and it was so embarrassing. The Yaakov Avinu is there, Yitzhak Avinu, all the brothers came to visit him, and he has to go out now and say, it was from me. I'm the father. Those kids in Tamar's stomach are mine. You know how embarrassing that is? Rabbi Ovadia Yosef comes and says, it's from me. Rabbi Eliyahu says it's from me. Embarrassing. But the koach to hodeh, to say that I admit, that's what made us Yehudim. That's what we call Yehudim. Yaakov Avinu, katonti mikol hachasadim. He's always saying thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why David HaMelech was chosen over Shaul, and with this we finish, that why he's the poster child for every person who wants to do teshuvah. We see that David HaMelech, when it comes to thanking and admitting, is number 1. This Shaul HaMelech, he was the first king. He made 1 mistake, he lost the kingdom. David HaMelech was the second king. He made 2 mistakes, he did not lose the kingdom. What's the difference? Because when Shaul, when he was asked, why did you do this and not kill Amalek? He said, because I listened to the people. I was afraid. Someone who's afraid cannot be a king. Someone who is afraid and listens to peer pressure cannot be in control of his Yatsara. Shaul HaMelech, of course, we can't talk about him, but Chazal tell us, our sages, because of this mistake, it was pushed aside. David HaMelech, not only 1 sin, he does 2 sins, but especially with Bathsheba, comes Natan HaNavi and says, why did you do? Instead of saying it was him, the way I grew up, I was born this way, I was born like this, my friends, hard upbringing, nothing doing. Chatati lelokim. It's me! I'm not going to push off anything. I admit. I made a mistake. I'm going to fix it. Natan HaNavi says, you admit it, in Hashem's name, you're going to be king and your kids forever. Moshe is going to come out of you. That's a Jew. Admitting. But not only that, lehodot LaHashem. You're always thanking Hashem. Most of Tehillim is about thanking Hashem. Talking about his tough life and still thanking him. Avshalom wants to kill him. Mizmor David al Avshalom. You say Mizmor. Song that Avshalom wants to kill you? Yeah, because I know everything's from Hashem. It's all good. And that's why we want to say Bikat HaGomer, a lot of Sidurim, they have it in the front before we say the bracha. The Gomer, to say thank you to Hashem for saving us. Odeh Hashem bechol levav, besod yishanim ve'edah. From David HaMelech. I thank Hashem for everything. Everything that happened. That's the Jew. That's David HaMelech. Poster child. That's why we finished Tehillim on Rosh Hashanah. And that's why we finished Tehillim on Shavuot. And that's why Ezra Sofer took these times and put these parshat before Rosh Shavuot and Rosh Hashanah. To teach us David HaMelech, poster child for Teshuvah. And he wrote Tehillim, negate these curses, against his Kalalot, 147. To show us that a person who wants it bad enough, you can do Teshuvah. You don't have to wait till Rosh Hashanah. You can start today. David HaMelech. That's our poster child. Our role model. And that's why Hashem chose David HaMelech over Shaul. Because he admits to the wrong and he thanks Hashem. My friends, we're called Yehudim. And we have to live up to that name. We have to thank Hashem for everything. For the morning, when we get up, the first word that comes out of your mouth, hey, what did you make me for breakfast? No. Modeh ani. The first word that comes out of your mouth is Modeh. You didn't even wash your hands yet. Open your eyes, Modeh. That's a Jew. And you make a mistake during the day, Habibi, is my fault. Hashem, I'm sorry. No, it's you. It's you. It's you. It's you. Don't forget, when you're pointing a finger, 3 fingers are pointing back at you, and 1 finger, you're blaming Hashem, chas v'shalom. It's not him, and it's not him, and it's not her, and it's not your kids. It's you, and it's you, and it's you. Now, don't get depressed. We all have to take charge of our Yetzer Hara, like David HaMelech. And we saw that he got the kingship forever. And although we might not be from David HaMelech per se, but we could all become kings over our Yetzer Hara by admitting to the truth and saying thank you to Hashem. Thank you.